too sick from treatment where I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I feel like shit, you know, I can't get ready. I just lay in my bed and puke.
The 19-year-old accused of lying about having cancer on TikTok and scamming well-wishers out of tens of thousands of dollars.
This TikToker scammed the whole world into believing she had cancer, and now she's getting exposed. From actual cancer patients and posting them online for views to having people raise over $37,000 for her fake cancer treatment. This has become one of the most heartless people on the internet. Join me today as we expose the TikToker that used cancer to scam the whole world.
I mean, if you would look at me, you wouldn't even realize that I'm sick and going through treatment.
Now, to understand this story, I have to give you some background information. 19-year-old Madison Russo was just a regular teenager going about her life until, according to her, she received a life-changing diabetes diagnosis in 2019. Her life was shattered, but she was confident if she could just follow the doctor's orders, she would live a long and healthy life. Fast forward a couple of months as Madison went back to her doctor for her checkup, and she got another shocking blow. The doctor told her that she had pancreatic cancer.
Type 1 diabetes does not define me. Pancreatic cancer does not define me.
This news was just devastating, and let me tell you why. So, you see, when Madison was diagnosed in 2019 with diabetes, it meant her pancreas wasn't producing enough insulin, meaning her body couldn't function normally. And now the doctor's telling her that her pancreas, that already wasn't functioning properly, had cancer. That was basically the end of her life as she knew it. To make things worse, 8 months after being told she had cancer and diabetes, she received a call informing her that she had a tumor on her spine the size of a football. Y'all, it seemed like Madison couldn't catch a break. So she decided to take to social media and share her journey. She was hoping that maybe venting about it to strangers online could help her deal with this crazy situation.
It was one of my worries. I was like, do I do it? Do I not? But I'm glad I did because it has been probably one of the best distractions.
Soon, Madison's videos started touching many people's hearts, and she began going viral with thousands following her on her journey. Her newly found fans began suggesting she go see a doctor and talk about surgery to help remove the tumor, but Madison came back with some sad news. Turns out the tumor was in a delicate place, and removing it would have done more harm than good. This news got even more devastating when Madison revealed that her doctor gave her an 11% chance of survival. But she was told she could do oral chemo and radiation treatment to try to give her a fighting chance.
It's just one of those days where just all I can say is cancer sucks. Cancer sucks.
Not gonna lie, you guys, but this story is just breaking my heart. And it was the same case for her growing followers on TikTok not long after that they received some good news. Madison revealed that her tumor was shrinking and the treatment was working. However, this news was extremely short-lived when Madison found out that her cancer had spread to her blood. She now had leukemia.
I was like brushing my hair and a few like pieces were like coming out as I was brushing my hair. Of course, my 2 a.m. Google search was clip-in hair extensions, like wigs.
Now, most people would give up at that point, but not Maddie. She finished her school semester with a 3.85 GPA and landed her dream internship at John Deere, all while continuing to undergo treatments. By this time, Madison was blowing up, and everyone wanted to hear her inspiring story and how she managed to make beating cancer look so effortless. In an interview with the North Scott Press, she revealed it wasn't actually easy, and she had discovered that she had yet another tumor. Over the last few weeks, my back had been hurting so bad, and I couldn't figure out why, said Maddie. I was kind of nervous because I'd been off chemo and I didn't want my cancer to get worse. They did a PET scan sooner than originally planned, and they found the football-sized tumor. What's really tough is that I thought I was making pretty good progress on the other cancer, and now it seems like everything has gone haywire again. Right now, everything is kind of uncertain. I'm just trying to continue on with life and still go to school, work, and keep doing things that are normal. Obviously, my normal has changed. I'm home a lot, and with treatments, you're very sick and they can get you down. I tried to go at it with the best attitude because I think your attitude during treatment can play a big part in your outcome. They gave me a slim 11% survival rate for 5 years before this latest tumor was discovered, she continued. 11%. At 19 years old, I don't know if I will live to see the day I graduate from college, get married, or become a mom. In the meantime, I will fight.
If you look at me, you would never know that I am sick. I still have hair, I can put on makeup to hide the exhaustion and the pain, and I carry myself fairly well at work and school.
After this inspiring interview, Madison became an online sensation. Everyone wanted to hear her story, and one thing in particular, they wanted to know how she managed to maintain her appearance, unlike other cancer patients. Madison looked strong. She was going out golfing and stuff, and even her hair didn't fall out. So Maddie decided to drop a video to reveal her secrets.
Biotin, collagen, and keratin are crucial vitamins that are shown to help with like hair, skin, and nail growth.
Loves, despite her illness, Madison had become a hero to many online, so much so that she was dubbed a pancreatic cancer warrior. Maddie was doing everything. She even went on a 6-mile run after her 14th round of chemo. Most people couldn't even walk after one chemo session, let alone going for a run after her 14th session. Maddie also made it a point to remind people of the dark side of cancer because, as she claimed, it wasn't every day she could go on a run. Some days she could barely even get up and get out of bed. Sometimes even her miraculous products couldn't even stop her hair from falling out in large amounts. Maddie made a point to show all the bad during her cancer journey.
I have to realize that before I even do anything or attempt to do anything, my body is fighting so hard every minute just to stay alive.
Y'all, Maddie's story became so big that her university invited her to give a speech to the faculty members, students, and their families on behalf of the cancer community at her university. She was even invited to Chicago to speak at a gala on behalf of the National Pancreatic Foundation, where she received 4 awards for her content that inspired thousands of other people online and gave hope to many more people fighting the battle with cancer. During all this, people came together and started a GoFundMe for Maddie, which raised over $37,000. This was money from well-wishers and her followers and supporters to help Maddie with her medical expenses that were for sure racking up.
There's so many different things about it that just flat out sucks. But there's also some pretty beautiful things about it, I think, that I've been able to experience.
Now, of course, Maddie only felt it right to update the people who had contributed to her GoFundMe. So she had a person posting regular updates on her GoFundMe page, and one day she posted, "Overdue update. Maddie's cancer has been progressively getting worse and has spread all over her body, including throughout her blood and also on her spine. She has tried everything and given it her all. Chemo, radiation, and other methods have no longer helped. She has decided to start a clinical trial drug to see if this could be a miracle and put Maddie in remission. The process is unfortunately not short and will be years ahead, yet she is still smiling, even with feeding tubes and IV poles. Maddie thanks all of you for your continued support and prayers during this time." Basically was telling people her cancer journey wasn't over yet. And after that long post, she followed it up with this picture she took after one of her treatment sessions. And turns out this picture would be the thing to expose all her lies.
Here's our girl with her feeding tube that's not primed, looks like TPN. Let's go closer to her nose. Is that the end of the feeding tube? What is going on with that chest port? I am not a chemo nurse, but this doesn't look like a port to me. The dressing is really screwed up. To me, it's giving G-tube vibes with that little circular piece right there. This was on her GoFundMe.
Now, to the untrained eye, this looks like a normal picture that someone in a hospital would take. But to medical professionals, this picture had a lot of red flags. Everything was off in the picture. How the tubes were, where the tubes were placed, even the tapes used to hold them in place. And you know who had a bunch of medical professionals following the story? Maddie. So one day after seeing this post, an anonymous decided to call the police and inform them of the concerning photo of Madison they had seen. The person's reasons for calling the police were unclear. Maybe it was someone who had seen right through Madison's story, or maybe they were concerned that maybe Madison wasn't getting the proper treatment and they wanted to see if the police could intervene.
The alleged scam was first spotted by doctors who wondered about this image that supposedly showed her getting chemo. It's not the way a medical port should look. The telltale giveaways, it's not sterile and it's not secured with medical tape. Look, this is a real medical port used for cancer patients. It's easy to see the difference.
Now, before even the police could investigate this anonymous report, news broke that Madison, who was critically ill and had a long journey with cancer ahead of her, had mysteriously healed and she no longer had cancer. This news spread like wildfire. This got the police even more interested in Maddie's story. And as soon as they started poking around, they found out that all of the money people were donating for Maddie and her GoFundMe had been cashed out. All of it.
Other news today, it was a heartbreaking tale. A young woman battling both leukemia and pancreatic cancer. The cops say she wasn't sick at all. They say she was faking it to rake in thousands of dollars in donations.
I know you are asking yourself, what is the big deal if that money was hers? Well, it typically wouldn't be a big deal, but it didn't take long for the police to find out that Maddie had made the whole thing up. This news was a shock to her followers, and most of them were rightfully angry. Just look at these people's reactions when they heard the news. This makes me angry as I stare at my 13-year-old daughter receiving chemo. People are sick. So, was there ever any illness, or was she just going to the doctor for regular appointments? This is terrible. I don't want to bad talk her, that's done enough, but dang, this is really bad. People like her are the reason why some people wouldn't be willing to help those who really have cancer anymore. To me, what's terrible is that not only did she soil the legacy of the invisible illness community and actual ill people who may find themselves not believed due to her actions, but she also reinforced the idea that terminally ill people can perform a semblance of normal life if they try hard enough, if they put their head up and grind, if they stay positive, if they just do better. It's a terrible statement, and one that has to be told to us for ages to force us to be quiet, to stop asking for accommodations or other help. It also aligns with the beliefs of some people that if we try hard enough and believe in ourselves, the illness will leave our body, will get better. You know, the manifestation type of narrative.
She raised over $37,000 on a GoFundMe page. Louis Frillman was so moved by her plight, he donated $1,000.
What struck a chord with you about her story?
She was a very young person that appeared to be in a serious amount of trouble.
And your heart went out to her.
She was totally believable.
But police in Iowa have arrested her, calling it an elaborate scam.
Now, of course, all eyes were on the police and their investigation. Maddie was arrested and taken into custody by the Eldridge Police Department. Though Maddie's TikTok account was deleted, police were able to find evidence through videos reposted by other people on the platform. And the police had everything. The videos showed that Maddie had been sharing intimate details about her supposed experiences with chemotherapy and radiation treatment.
My counts, a normal count should be between 2,500 and 6,000, and mine were at 1,100. So quite low, but happy that.
Yes, I alcoholed. So ready, part two of let me explain what she's talking about. Okay, so she must be talking about her white blood cells, saying that her ANC is 1,100. Okay, anything less than 1,000, we consider that neutropenic. That is something that you cannot receive treatment.
Police also discovered that Maddie had been taking photos from actual cancer patients' social media pages and sharing them as her own. According to the Eldridge Police, Madison had taken more than $37,000 in donations from more than 439 donors at businesses, school districts, colleges, and local and national cancer foundations.
Good morning, Lindsay. So in one interview, Madison Russo claims doctors told her she had an 11% chance of survival, and people, charities, cancer organizations, they all donated to help her fight cancer. The problem is, according to authorities, she doesn't have cancer. She never did, and that's not just a lie, it's a felony.
Y'all, this story was so serious that when Maddie was in court for a plea hearing, they brought out some of her donors and people who had helped during her fake cancer to testify against her. One of the witnesses, Peggy of the Strong Pancreatic Cancer Foundation, said, "I never imagined someone so callously would fake that they had such a devastating cancer as pancreatic cancer and willingly accept our gift of love and kindness and lie directly to my face." Peggy concluded by saying, though was completely heartbroken by Maddie's actions. Now, during the plea hearing, Maddie also got a chance to speak. She testified that she lied about her fake cancer battle. Maddie said, "A lot of people have made speculation as to why I did this and how somebody who looked like they had everything together could have such a mess. I didn't do this for money or greed. I didn't do this for attention. I did this as an attempt to get my family back together."
I think it is appropriate to briefly summarize the facts. On February 10, 2022, you began an elaborate scheme which involved you supposedly having pancreatic cancer and acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Through this scheme, you deceived your friends, your family, your community, other cancer victims, charities, and strangers who were motivated by your supposedly tragic story to donate to you to help support you through your disease. Most of these donations went into a GoFundMe account. Your scheme continued for a very lengthy period of time.
Y'all, this drama was so much that GoFundMe had to come out and publicly say that they would refund everyone who donated to Maddie their money back.
Louis Frillman is one of hundreds who gave to the GoFundMe supporting Russo. His $500 donation has been refunded.
The judge also ordered Madison to repay the nearly $40,000 in restitution and a fine of $1,375, and she was given over 100 hours of community service. Through all of this, Maddie managed to avoid prison time by getting a 10-year suspended sentence and 3 years probation. What do you guys think of this whole Madison story? Did she get off easy? Let me know in the comments. Till next time, bye loves.